Hello and welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships, Season 24, Week 3, Round 1. My name is Boma Fett. I'm currently 5-1. I apologize for this video being a little bit late. Because of holiday travel, my recording schedule was a little unusual and I wasn't able to get my editing done until after the new year. I also wasn't able to do voiceover during my recordings or record my normal intro, so all of this is after the fact commentary. So let's see who my opponent was for the round. PetPardo. Let's go to the hotbot for a quick comparison. Alright, so here is the hotbot comparison. You can see a lot of green on my side, but a few areas of red on PetPardo's side. So let's zoom in and take a closer look. Now, a few things stood out to me about this top section. Number one, a low guild GP. This can often have a very large effect on people's rosters, especially regarding the Malevolence and the Negotiator, because those ships require Get 2 currency. The next thing was the best score and lifetime banners from the old GAC are very low, meaning that PetPardo was not a GAC player. Now, because the stakes have changed and a lot of your crystal income now comes from GAC, I expect a lot more people to be a lot more involved in GAC, but this means that he probably doesn't have a whole lot of practice with GAC. The last thing in this top section that really stood out to me was the defends to wins ratio, 401 to 731. That's more than 50% defends to wins, which means that at least in the old format, PetPardo was a defensive player. In the roster summary, you can see that our GPs are very similar, but PetPardo does have the higher top 80 and top 65. This is how they used to do matchups, was by top 80 and top 65. They no longer consider this as part of the matchup algorithm. But it's still relevant because you are using your top characters in GAC. You're not using the bottom of your roster. So comparing the tops of the rosters is still a helpful thing to do. I have 33 more Zetas, meaning I've been playing longer than PetPardo, and I have a lot more speed at the top of my roster. This is probably my biggest advantage right here. Now, PetPardo has 16 more Gear 13 characters. I have 14 more Gear 12 and 29 more Gear 11 and above. The mod analysis shows I have over 50 more 6-stop mods and a lot more mods with high-speed secondaries. Now, if this seems like a mismatch in my favor so far, take a look at the relic summary. PetPardo has 380 total relic levels to my 218. But that's not actually PetPardo's biggest advantage. The biggest advantage is right here, 3 Galactic Legends to 1. So all PetPardo needs to do is set these Galactic Legends on defense. I'll only be able to clear one of them, meaning that I'll only be able to clear half the board. However, according to GAC history, PetPardo usually saves 2 Galactic Legends for offense and places only 1 on defense. So that's what I prepared for. Now, as I suggested earlier, the low guild GP has had an impact on PetPardo's ships. You can see no Negotiator and only a 5-star Malevolence. Now, normally we go back to the game, we take a closer look at my opponent's roster. We're going to skip that this video. We're just going to go check out the defenses. Alright, we'll take a look at my defense first. In the top zone, I've got Mothma, Newt, Rebel Rubbish, and Beskar Mando. In the bottom zone, I set CLS, Leftover Bounty Hunters, and I have given Zam her Omicron now, so we'll see if that helps that squad hold better, General Grievous, and Darth Revan. In the back zone, I've got Karth with Wampa. Wampa's here to hopefully prevent him from doing a solo with Kylo Ren, Phoenix, and Night Sisters. So this is not a great back zone. I'm just hoping to not give away too many banners. And in the fleet zone, I set my Malevolence and Thrawn. I was very tempted to set both the Malevolence and the Negotiator here, figuring he probably could not clear both of them, but in the end I decided to save my Negotiator for offense. Now let's take a look at his defense. In the top zone, we've got Karth, Night Sisters, Bosk, and Phasma. And in the bottom zone, where I was expecting to see a galactic legend, we have Jedi Training Rey, Mothma, Jedi Knight Revan, and Finn Resistance. So no galactic legend up front, but I proceeded under the assumption that there would be at least one galactic legend in the back. So I really wanted to save my General Skywalker as a possible counter for Rey in the back, but I decided that that was my best counter against Jedi Knight Revan. What makes this a terrific counter is that General Skywalker's leadership prevents the opponents from reviving. So that means that Jolee is basically irrelevant. Now, even though that's the case, sometimes in the heat of battle, you forget little details like that. So you're going to notice that I go after Yoda first in order to proc Savior, and then I go after Jolee. So a little bit of a tactical mistake on my part, but not that big a deal. We proc Savior very quickly. Now I should just go ahead and kill Yoda, but instead, I went after Jolee. Now, thankfully, the AI can be even dumber than me sometimes, and so instead of marking General Skywalker the way he should, he marks ARC Trooper. Now, of course, the clones can't lose health as long as General Skywalker is standing. So they do get some hits on Skywalker here, even though ARC is marked because Skywalker is taunting. But a lot of the hits are going against ARC Trooper instead of General Skywalker. Here I'm going to throw the grenade and get rid of all their buffs. But you see that I'm still attacking Jolee. Like, I still haven't realized that I don't need to do that. There we go. Got rid of Yoda on the counterattacks, and then Jolee goes down. From here on, it's smooth sailing. I've lost protection on all of my characters, so it's not going to be a high banner victory, but it works fine. The counterattacking from Shaak Ti is annoying, but I eventually get her down. And there is a 70. Again, not great banners, but that's okay. Against the Finn squad, I decide to take in my Palpatine with Vader. Normally I use this squad against Geonosians, but my opponent usually saves Geonosians for offense. Oh, everybody knows how this battle goes. You force crush with Vader, then you go into Merciless. You decide who you want to take out first. Throw your saber at them. Here I decided on the Resistance pilot because he had the most debuffs. Took him out easily. Now I try and get ability blocks by doing basics on some of the other characters. Do another Force Crush as soon as you can, and throw at the last person in the group. Now it's a 5-on-3 advantage. Again, try and get an ability block there. That should prevent those two from taunting. I'm going to swap here with Palpatine so that he can get some stuns. He only got one, but that's okay. We go after Poe next. And now I'm still learning Mara Jade's kit, so I do have to read what her abilities do. I did the bomb to put her in stealth just in case. That gave her another turn. So I did her middle ability, and that gives her yet another turn. I do a basic, and that calls Palpatine to assist. Now I decide to just do a basic there on Rose. I was trying to stun her. I thought maybe I could have all three of them stunned. We get Rose out while the other two are still stunned. Go back after Poe. The assist from Palpatine got rid of him. And with Thrawn, I don't even bother to fracture. He's still stunned. His turn meter's low. I just did a basic. We're going to throw the bomb with Mara Jade again. That gives her the middle turn. And again, the basic. And Palpatine will assist. And it's over. Easy 65. I'm actually really enjoying the addition of Mara Jade on this squad. I think she brings a lot to the squad, even at 3 stars Gear 11. Next up, I went after Mon Mothma. After checking speeds, I knew that my bounty hunters would be fast enough to get their contract before they could be attacked. It's an odd Mon Mothma squad with Old Ben in there. I mean, at least he's a rebel. I've seen some people put in a 5th there who's not even a rebel. That really messes up the Mothma squad. She can't call the extra character. But having all rebel fighters is really ideal. Now, I know a lot of people are using Omicron Zam with their Bosk, and it makes them really fast on offense, and you can counter things like Darth Revan and General Skywalker. But in this case, I felt that it was better to keep her on defense. This Mothma did not have the Zeta, and so I was able to attack her. So I stunned her, then I stunned Wedge, and then I just deleted him with my Relic 8 Boba. Then I used the Disintegrate on Biggs, able to stun Lando, and then went for the stun on Old Ben. So I had all 3 of them stunned momentarily. Now, I just don't understand why my opponent would put Mothma with no Zetas on defense. That's not going to be a good defensive squad, even if it were all Rebel fighters. They're not going to get the assisting that Mothma gives them. And you can target Mothma, which I was a little bit silly and I kept doing just because you never get to target her. And so I was having fun with the fact that I could target her and get rid of her. You can see I just kept them stun locked. Big hit there. Stun him again. Oh, didn't get the stun. But I try again, and I do get it. And then a final disintegrate. So 65 banners there. Against Jedi Training Rey, I decided to take in my Padme squad. You can see I've got Ayla Secura on here instead of Jedi Anakin. That's because I'm now putting Anakin most of the time with Qui-Gon Jinn. But in this case, I actually put Jedi Anakin back in. And that's because of the way I was planning on distributing my Jedi. I was going to use Grandmaster Yoda with Qui-Gon Jinn and use either Bastila or Jedi Revan with Jedi Master Luke. Now, I think I kind of underestimated this squad, actually. There are no droids on this squad. There are no Resistance bros, so I figured this would be a pushover of a squad. I went right after Stick Rey. She seemed like the biggest threat. But in truth, Jedi Training Rey can deal some good damage, and each of the vets can also deal good damage. Plus, you get those extra attacks from the vets when the leader dies and when one or the other vet dies. So you're going to see Chewie kind of goes ham here on my squad. Right there, he stunned Commander Ahsoka. Now we're going to go after Jedi Training Rey. I'm going to get rid of the Foresight. We do a little protection up here with the AoE, and a little more protection up from Padme. There's another stun from Chewie. And now I've got my Force Leap from Commander Ahsoka, but Jedi Training Rey had Foresight, so I needed to read this and make sure that she wouldn't be able to dodge it. I didn't want to waste this. So we take her out. Chewie gets another bonus attack. So you can see I'm down on protection on every character. I'm even missing a little bit of health on Snips. There, I just got it back. Put the Xian back on Snips. And now one last hit should finish him off. And only 61 banners. Not great on the banners. Now, how many Galactic Legends am I going to find in the back? None. Look at this. This shocked me. How do you go into a match with a 3GL to 1 advantage and not put a single Galactic Legend on defense? I don't get it. But I think this goes back to the fact that he didn't used to play GAC very much. so he's inexperienced at this, doesn't know the strategies, but now we're in a complete and total efficiency match. So I need to be more efficient going forward. I've done okay on efficiency, but not great so far. So I decided to go after the Jawas first. I probably could have done a JML solo here, but there's always a chance that that first efflux doesn't kill everybody. And so you want to have a second character along with JML just in case. So I took in Hermit Yoda. And of course you start with the efflux. And sure enough, one character lived, but not for long. 68 manners there. Next up was the troopers, and even though they're really low gear, I just didn't want to be too flippant about this and have them start up a turn meter train on me and surprise me. So I decided to go in with Qui-Gon, Shaak-Ti, and Yoda, and then I decided to switch out Shaak-Ti for Jedi Knight Revan. I don't exactly remember what my reasoning was here, but this is what I went with. I think maybe I was thinking both Jedi Revan and Grandmaster Yoda have AoEs, so just do a couple of AoEs and the battle will be over. But it didn't quite work. Piet was going to get a turn, so I spread the foresight. His attack didn't do any damage, and goodbye Piet, easy 67. And last up we have the Ewoks, which of course means a nest solo. I'll just put it on auto and fast forward through the battle. So this Ewok squad didn't even have Wicket on it. Instead we have Teebo, and he can be a little bit annoying because he does go invisible, he does stealth, and so Nest can't counterattack against him. But Wicket also has a stealth mechanism. So unless you're going to do a Teebo lead, where he's giving stealth to the other Ewoks, you're much better off with Wicket here than with Teebo. Now, if you're going to do an efficiency match, don't put squads that are this bad on defense. Yeah, you're going to save a lot for offense for efficiency, but if the squads are this bad, you're giving away extra banners to your opponent. Just not a good idea. So then up to the top zone. Now first up we've got the Night Sisters, and I'm going to take my Imperial Troopers against the Night Sisters. So the troopers are typically an excellent counter for the Night Sisters. Typically, you can get rid of them without even allowing them to take a turn. I put the debuff here on the Dark Trooper. I get my turn meter train rolling. I get a quick kill against the zombie. I switch over to Talia. Take her out once. There we go. Now stomp, stomp, and take her out again. Then I took her out a third time. Keep that turn meter train rolling. I switch over to Daka. Attack Daka. It takes a few attacks, but I'm able to get Daka down. And then they got a turn, and another turn, and just obliterated Veers. I don't know what happened there. I was getting the kills that should have kept boosting my turn meter, and yet somehow they got some turns. So I need to go back and reread some kits or something. I'm not sure what I did wrong. But this battle did not go the way it should have. And I only got 57 banners. Maybe you can tell me in the comments what I did wrong. Next up is the Phasma squad. And I took in my Jedi Training Ray squad here. Resistance beats First Order. Whether it's crew lead or Phasma lead, as long as there's no Hux and no red on the other side. I got the Wiggle, and then the Wave, and I wave OG Kylo. Want to keep him ability blocked so he can't AoE. I go for the stun on the Executioner, but here I make a mistake, and for some reason, I must have fat-fingered it or something. I did not put the Inspired on Poe, so then Poe couldn't spread the Inspired when his turn comes around. So that was a bit of a mistake. I spent some time pounding on this officer. He was a lot tougher than I'm used to officers being, and they started to do some damage. So I decided eventually to switch back to Executioner. Executioner is the biggest threat on the other side. I decided to get rid of him. My brother Heathen 13 had a match recently where he was going after Officer instead of Executioner, and Executioner kind of wrecked his squad. So that's part of what led me to go back to Executioner. So here I got him stunned again, and so I thought about going after Officer, but then thought better of it, and again went after Executioner. You can see nobody is inspired on my squad. So there, I finally got the Inspired on Poe. Poe got it to Rey. Now that I've got the Inspired out there, that actually really helps this squad. Actually, I'm not sure what Inspired does, but I'm sure it's a good thing. So we keep Kylo Ren ability blocked, keep him from doing that AoE. We got TIE Pilot stunned here. Now finally back after the Officer. That bomb got rid of the TIE Pilot. We get rid of Officer. Get rid of Phasma. I've managed to heal everybody back up all the way. So now it's just a matter of getting rid of Kylo Ren. We got him stunned. Now we put the healing immunity on him. One last healing grenade just to make sure everybody's all healed up. Get the Inspired on BB-8. Couple more hits ought to do it. And this will be a 65. So it started a little bit slow, but turned out fine. Next up is the Bounty Hunter squad, and for this I took in my Bad Batch. They are all 7 stars, all gear 11. But even at gear 11, they can take out most Bounty Hunter squads. Maybe not the top Bounty Hunter squads, but most Bounty Hunter squads. So we do the debuffs. Then we're going to try and get a stun on them. So I roll the grenade here. Only stunned 2 of them, that's fine. You can see I'm targeting Boma Fett. So what I'd really like to do is get the defense up, and for that, I need this guy, Wrecker. This gets defense up, and once I've got defense up, every attack becomes an AoE. In fact, every action becomes an AoE. It doesn't need to be an attack. Any special is an AoE. So you can see this was very, very easy. 65 banners. Now, finally, we have this Karth squad, and I have a ton left. So my original plan was to take in the Kylo Rens, but instead I go with Jedi Knight Luke, along with Shaak Ti and Bastila. Now my hope here was that I would be able to keep them stunned for most of the battle, call the mass assist, and now Luke will get the stun, and then both Luke and Shaak Ti have a dispel on basic, and so when Zalbar's taunt comes up, I'd be able to easily dispel it. The thing is, I'm one-shotting all of the characters, so the taunt never comes up on Zalbar. The taunt comes up when a teammate gets below 100% health. But if they go from 100% health to 0% health, the taunt does not activate. So this was a bit overkill. It's an easy 67. Now all that's left is the ships. So you can see there a Finalizer and Rattus. These are two fleets that I rarely battle, and so I'm always at a loss. What do I take against which ship? So in this case, I just decided to go by the numbers. Finalizer's the better fleet, I would take my better fleet, the Negotiator. That's not always the best way to go. So I really should learn the matchups here, because it really could get me in trouble one of these days. Now the Finalizer is a fast fleet. Kylo will get the first attack. He should stun Anakin, but the AI is dumb and does a big hit instead. Now the AI actually does something smart here and puts Hunted on Anakin. It doesn't always do that. But in this case, it did the right thing, and my Anakin is really hurting. So I've got to try and get out Kylo Ren as quickly as possible. I've got him in the red. I swap turn meter over to Anakin, and then this AoE should get rid of Kylo. And it does. So that's pretty much all she wrote for this fleet. The Finalizer has that one really powerful ship, and if you get rid of it, it's kind of over. I mean, I guess the same could be said of the Negotiator too. If you get rid of Anakin, the Negotiator fleet isn't that strong. So they brought in the Sith Assassin, which is kind of an odd reinforcement. But I guess if you've got that character built up, then you use his ship. So I bring in Snips here, get rid of the buffs on the Sith Assassin. Big hit there. Now I could take out the Sith Assassin, but instead I give some protection up to the Y-Wing. And now the Y-Wing's AoE takes out the Sith Assassin. And a couple of hits later, we are done. 73 banners. Against the Rattus, I have my home one. Again, no idea if this is a good matchup or not. I actually don't have the Rattus because I have not unlocked the Ebon Hawk because it's a Cantina farm. And so this is probably the fleet that I am least familiar with. I do know that I want to take out the Millennium Falcon. So I go after the Falcon first. Looks like I'm going to lose my Biggs. And their Falcon is gone. Wiggle with my Millennium Falcon. AoE to get rid of the Foresight. And they bring in the Razor Crest, which gets rid of my Biggs. Seems like a weird reinforcement, but we really need more ships for the Rattus and the Finalizer. I bring in my Cassian, target his Resistance pilot, and call the assist to get rid of the Resistance pilot. Go after Poe. I figure under the Rattus, Poe is a bigger threat than the Razor Crest. Get some healing here. Goodbye, Poe. And now just have to take down the Razor Crest twice. They bring in the Galactic Republic Y-Wing, which is a tank. So I do Shield Disruptor there, and I actually landed it. You almost never land that Shield Disruptor. Rebel Y-Wing would be a way better ship if it landed that much more often. I brought in here the Ghost so that I could do the AoE. I thought that would be more helpful than the Phantom. And call the mass assist, and it's over. 70 banners. Not great banners, but good enough. So the one-shot full clear, a 1737, is my highest score in this new format. But I was still worried. He had 3 GLs for offense. My defense was not that tough. I thought there was still a chance that he could beat me on efficiency. So I'd have to come back later and find out. So there is the win against PetPardo. Let's see what he did against my defense. You can see all squad zones are cleared, but both of my fleets are there. In the top zone, one-shots against every squad. In the bottom zone, one-shots against every squad. In the back zone, one-shots against every squad. So as I suspected, he had more than enough to get the one-shot full clear, but then he didn't even try against my fleets. So why not? Well, if you do the math, 1737 minus 1367 minus the 186 for the fleets, he needed to average 92 banners per battle against my fleets in order to catch me, and that's impossible. So I'd like to thank PetPardo for the match. I think that with a little more experience, he will learn that he needs to start setting his Galactic Legends on defense, particularly when he has the GL advantage, like he did in this match. But his inexperience really showed here, and I was able to take advantage of that. So thank you, PetPardo, for the match, and thank you all for watching. I will see you next round.